Hi, welcome back to the happiness game for romantic relationships. I'm Yi Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couple therapist. Today we talk about if you are fit to be married. As a couple therapist, I do premarital counseling and I also do relationship counseling. Sometimes people come to me, they're already in the late stage of their relationship, but other times they come in fresh and new and they're thinking about making a huge commitment. And I often get to be asked this question: do you think we should be married, or are we fit to get married? Are we ready to get married? Sometimes it's a very direct question and coming from my clients. Other times it's kind of like a hidden, indirect way of trying to fish answers from me. Well, in my career as a marital counselor, I definitely have said something like, oh, I think you guys are ready to be married, maybe in only a couple of times. And every single time, they were not solicited by my clients. It's when we've done some good work together, I'm aware and I realize that, their relationship is in such a solid ground. They can tackle challenging topics and conversations on their own and maybe just come back for a booster session or two, but they're good on their own. That's when I say, I think you are ready to get married and you don't need to be in couple therapy forever. But I know if you're watching this, there's a part of you probably question, probably think, probably wonder, right? And I will give you a couple of thoughts of mine. That's how I lead my couples premarital counseling sessions, generally the process. You don't have to be in premarital counseling. You also don't need to have those conversations if you're just ready to be married. But if you're curious and you wonder, there's a part of you are thinking, well, should I be married now? Another part is thinking, well, I want to be married now, which is a very human normal state. We always have one foot in here, one foot in there, different subsystems in our whole personal system. And there's also two different subsystems in our partner system. So my first question for you is, what does marriage mean to each of you? When I was married, when I got married many years ago, I had no idea what marriage is. And I won't recommend that. So as grew up in China, we were told women's supposed to get married at a certain age, and then you have children, you build a family. In some way is tapped into the value of a woman, if you're marriable or not. I know it's not very modern, but traditionally that's the way. And still some people think that way in China and in other parts of the world, that women should be married at a certain age. Otherwise, you're leftovers. You're not desirable. You don't have values. Scratch that. So what does marriage mean to you? When I was in law school in China a long time ago, and in marriage law, Chinese marriage law, my professor asked me this question: what do you think? There are different theories about marriage. Some theories said it's a contract between two individuals. It's a legal contract. Other theories talk about it's a union of two families. And predominantly, there are two theories in the legal field. At least I was taught. But there are other theories and other ideas about what marriage means for people. And as a 21-year-old, very, very legal-minded student, I raised my hand. I said, it's a contract. It's a contract. Definitely a contract. And also I support premarital not premarital counseling at the time. I support premarital contract prenup 100% at the time. Did I change when I was getting married? Absolutely. I found premarital prenups are very not romantic. Why would you predict something is going to end before you actually get into it? So pessimistic, right? What do I think about that now? It's very different. I can see the value of a prenup, and I can also see how that is not romantic. But it's up to two people when you're getting into it to talk about it. What does marriage mean to each of you? Is it just the two of you get together to maximize your resources and build a family, get a house and raise children? Or is it a union of two families? You actually want to pull in your resources from your community and your culture and your family, or is that you're really looking for a soulmate and marriage is a way to validate you're so committed to each other? There could be many things, right? So it's good to talk about that with your partner, so at least even if you're not on the same page, at least you understand where each other's coming from, so you don't project your idea onto the other person, and then when later you have a conversation about it, you realize you're not on the same page at all. So if one person thinks marriage is a legal contract, it's actually just to pull our resources together and with some companionship and, you know, to buy a house and have children. The other person thinks, oh, it's actually a spiritual union more than a financial, a logistical union. Then you have a big difference there, right? A worse discussion. So number two, what kind of partner are you striving to be? Not what your partner is trying to be. Not thinking about, well, what kind of partner I want. It's more like, what kind of partner do I want to be? Do you want to be a supportive partner? What does being supportive mean? Does it mean when your partner is having a hard time in life or at work, pursuing their goals, they may go for a direction that's not convenient for you? For example, if your partner is changing jobs, they're got laid off and they're starting their own business, where they want to pursue a further education. For example, they want to take a break and they want to go back to graduate school to further education to build up their earning capacity. So it might not be convenient for you. That means this new thing, this transition will take more time, energy, and financial resources from your existing pool of all of that. And you may feel alone and miss what you had before. Does it mean you can take that inconvenience, and still back your partner up, saying, that's what you want, I think you should do it, even though that means we don't get to spend much time together, even though that means that financially will it be short, I'm up for it, right? That's a being supportive partner. Okay, it doesn't mean like you're supportive when everything goes really well. So are you a trusting partner? Do you take your partner's words at face value and not second guess them? Well, the foundation is you already build a trusting, secure relationship, right? Can you, when your partner tell you, this is what I really think and feel, can you trust that they're telling you the truth instead of your second guessing where you come up with stories in your head and put on them? So are you a trusting partner? Are you striving to be a trusting partner? Are you striving to be a responsive partner? What does it mean, being responsive? That means, well, when your partner is reaching out to you, you actually respond with positive regard. Say, even if you don't feel like having physical contact or having sex, your partner, after a fight, reach out to you for a hug, or some physical touch, or just want to reconnect. Even though you're not ready, can you at least give some, saying, well, I don't feel totally comfortable with having sex right now. We haven't resolved this issue. I need more emotional connection for that. But I can give you a hug. I can cuddle with you. I can lean next to you and watch a show together or listen to some music, right? That's a way to connect. So I know Gottman already had research on that. Being a responsive partner can kind of predict the success of a marriage. Sure, there's some data to back that up, but just in general, if that is your goal, to be a responsive partner, you got to work on yourself. The partner want to say no, not right now, right? So that's why we say marriage is work. It's not just a good time. well, the wedding parties and everything could be a good time, and the romantic dates can be a good time. But there are times that you really feel like this is not what I want right now. But thinking about what's the best for our relationship, I want to be supportive, I want to be responsive, I want to be trusting. So if you just pick one of those as your goal and practice that daily, your relationship will flourish, and you don't need me, and you don't need to pay big money for couple therapy. Isn't that great? So number 3, so first 2, what does marriage mean to you? What kind of partner are you striving to be? Number 3 is, how much do you know yourself? If you know yourself 65 to 80%, that's pretty good, because it's a lifetime journey of learning ourselves, and we keep changing and growing and improving, right? But if you actually not quite clear about your own attachment styles, your love languages, and what do you do when you have a attachment protest, which means you don't get your needs met? What do you do? Do you whine? Do you criticize the other person? Do you give them the cold shoulders and withdraw? Do you put up a fight? Or do you go somewhere else? Some people say, well, going somewhere else is good, is healthy. Well, maybe. But you're also not giving your partner the opportunity to meet your needs and define yourself, refine that, and connect further when things get hard. Well, it's easy to just go to your friend, go to your therapist, you go to your community, get your needs met, all your needs met outside of your relationship, but then while you're in the relationship from the beginning, right? So it's good to get to know yourself. If you are into some self-reflection, that's great. And if you're into like learning through YouTube and other books and seeing a therapist, talk it out with a friend. But it's good to be reflective and getting to know what's important to you at any given time. It's a moving target too, because we're always growing and learning. It's good to know what I like, what I think, what I believe 10 years ago, even a year ago, is different from now. So I have no idea what I'm going to be in the next 6 months. So it's good to know now and discover. You probably guessed the next one, number 4, is how much do you know your partner? Especially something very potent to relationship topics like sex. Do you know your partner's preference? Do you know their sexual fantasies? Do you know what turns them on, what turns them off, their taboos? Do you know how they like to be touched, where they like to be touched, sexually, not sexually? Do you know if they're tactile defensive, which means when they're really upset, overstimulated, they shut down, they don't want to be touched, right? So what else do you know about them? Anything you know about yourself, you may want to ask question, how about you? Right? If you know your attachment style, well, do you know your partner's attachment style in this relationship, not with their parents, but with you? Do you know their love languages? What does it mean, their love language? They say quality time. What does quality time mean to them, not for you? Could be very different, right? So be curious and ask those questions. There's a lot of things to talk about. And I like to use Esther Perel's cue cards called Where Shall We Begin? For dates, for couples, I even do that with my children to talk about things. They just some prompts for you to think about, a fun game to do to get to know other people even more. All right, so the next one, number 5, if you have any hot topics that you haven't resolved, addressed. The common ones are money, sex, infidelity, boundaries, child rearing, where do you live, what kind of lifestyle you want to have. And there could be more, like a spiritual practice, religious practice, all of those above. What are the things you have gone through? You can use ChatGPT for topics, but find a one that's relevant to each of you. And be very specific. It's not like, okay, we spent half an hour talk about this topic. Check, 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 check. It's how do you feel after you talked about it? Do you feel like you have a deeper understanding of each other's point of view, even though you don't agree? Is there any more that can be, dog-eared for later to continue that conversation? Like It's endless things to talk about with your partner. I don't get it when people have nothing to say, after 10 or 20 years of marriage. There's always something to talk about. Your partners keep changing, you keep changing. You want to get to know what's new for them. There are things also, as a therapist, we like to talk, to define things, to dig deeper. For example, if you say, well, I would like you to take care of me, right? A lot of times people make that vow at weddings. It's very Asian too. The woman will say, well, I want my husband to take care of me when we are married. And then would you define what does it mean, take care of me? Does it mean if you lose your job or your business is not doing well, that I will support you to pinch in the difference for you to keep your business afloat? For how long? For 6 months? For a year? Does it mean you take care of me as for you keep my current lifestyle, that I like certain designer clothes and bags, like to keep my Tesla, that I wanted to eat in certain restaurants, I wanted my annual Europe trip. Like, what does it mean? Like, you take care of me, right? So it can mean so many things for so many different people and at different given time. It could be take care of me emotionally when I'm going through graduate school, I'm having a hard time, you listen to me, you being a good friend, right? That can also mean take care of me. It could mean if I fall, if I break my bones, that you'll actually come, like take me to the bathroom, take me to the doctor, take care of me physically, right? It could be many, many different things. So I really encourage you to get into the nitty-gritties and details and see what you got. The next one is, do you trust them? Ooh, that's a deep topic. I actually wrote a whole theory on trust, finding truth and how to trust someone. How do you know if you can trust someone? It's a lifetime of exploration. That is the topic of the intimate stage of a relationship or system development. Trust, mistrust. So how do you know that you trust someone? What is your bodily sensations when you say, I trust them, when they tell me something? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel tense? What do you notice? The temperature changes inside of you. There's an energy change inside of you. So how do you know that your body is congruent with what your mind is saying? I trust them, I don't trust them. That's something to inquire, right? So the last one, I know coming from a legal background, do you have a contingency plan? That means, do you know your local state law? So marriage and family law is state law. It's not federal law. So you want to know your local law. Say in California law is very different from Wisconsin, very different from New York. California family law is the most progressive ones, as far as I know. It's good to get some study in and know your data. What does it mean to be married legally? What does it mean if it doesn't work out, you need to divorce? You can consult with ChatGPT, you can consult with the attorney, a financial advisor, tax specialist, but it's good to know what's implication if you resort to artificially designed union, not just you 12 you decide to live together and get together, but as for if you sign up for that officiated union marriage, what does it mean in the state that you're living in? It's good to have that data and talk about it and plan. This is not that romantic part. Actually, the whole thing might not be very romantic that you want to talk so much before you just jump in to get married. But I hope that this is helpful. And there is nothing wrong with not knowing. There's nothing wrong with you have disagreements, which is actually great. That means you have more things to talk about in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years in your relationship. Let me know what you think about this one, and I will see you next week.